Okay. Turned on. Welcome to another episode in English, not in German. I have the honor to have a very nice guest on this podcast today, being turned on. Again, talking with men on being turned on women, on feminine energy and masculine energy. And today, I have the honor to have Nic Warner, is the right name, right? On my podcast. So welcome. From at the moment you're in Amsterdam.
I
But
am.
yeah, thank you
Thank you
for
for having me.
joining. And yeah, would you like to say some words for the beginning before we start into the topics?
Uh, some words about myself, or some words about
Yeah, just about who are you
who
today?
am I today. I'm a father. I'm a teacher. I'm a lover, fiance, brother, friend.
Oh,
Um, I'm a work in progress, and yeah, today that's where I'm at.
oh, I love that. So this is also again we dive into the topics. It's like yes, a man is as I say for women, it's like we are so much more than just one thing. Like a lot of women tend to like I have to be like this. I said no, you are like 3D dimensional. You can be like a lover, and you can be a feminine boss, you can be a mother, you can be everything. Like
Hmm.
I like this for men as well. Like you don't have to be just one man who has it all together. You have different kind of stages, right?
I don't know of any men that have it all together. Actually,
Oh,
there's always something that's burdening. And one of the classic masculine traits is to actually not share that which burdens him, um, especially not to the women.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, but you get into a men's circle and you realize that all men have something happening.
yeah. So this is what I always was looking for. Like we need more spaces for men. Like men need spaces. This is not just about business and just how can we be better, but more into like let's talk about the intimacy. Let's talk about the issues, the emotional blockages we also have as men, right? So I'm really would like to hear a little bit about this. You talk a little bit about the wounded masculine on your stories as well, or like on your Instagram and also website. What would you say is the masculine for you, and what is, yeah, the unhealed masculine? The things why we need more spaces like this.
If I was to, I mean, this has evolved greatly over the past 10 years. But if I was to define what masculinity is,
Mm,
it would be the transmission of embodied consciousness.
mm,
Um, because any other trait that often gets used for masculinity can anybody can happen. Um, leadership is a common one, yet on a more nuanced and deeper level, the feminine is actually the one that leads. Strength, watch a woman give birth.
mm,
Um, integrity is different for men. It is, are your words, actions, and thoughts in alignment? Whereas for women, it is, are you expressing the truth of your heart in this moment? And
mm.
um, presence is a really beautiful masculine quality, but that's also consciousness.
Yeah,
Um, and this is, I think this is what differentiates men that you can sit in front of and actually feel the work that they've done, as
yeah,
opposed to men that have been to a couple of retreats or read a couple of books and are now suddenly teaching or coaching or
mm,
running retreats. Um, there is a lineage of this work that offers a deeper level of transmission that a lot of we spoke about it earlier. There's a lot more of this work happening for men,
yeah,
um, and some of it is literally just breath work, ice bath, get around the fire, beat your chest, which is great, but it's all feminine expression. So we're not actually teaching, we're not creating a space for men to learn how to be deeper
Mm.
around their women. So yeah, for me, that, that is the definition of masculinity. It is the embodiment of consciousness. Um, and then for women, it's the embodiment of, for the feminine, it's the embodiment of love and how that is transmitted.
Great. Yeah. I feel like, would you say men, if they start doing like, I have to do something like personal development, doing something for myself, maybe not man's work in particular, does it require to have like a breakdown? So I have the no, I have this. I had a podcast before with Ian. He's in Canada and working with men on the embodiment stuff as well. And he said most of the men start to do the work if they feel like, oh, my woman is leaving me. So either she left or she's leaving.
Ian McKenzie?
Pardon? Ian
Ian?
Cole.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
He's
I
I
know.
think pretty new, but um, yeah, and like men have to either they have a burnout, the midlife crisis, maybe it's like in the 40s, something like this. So I tend to have a lot of discussions and also conversations with men, and they say, yeah, now I have to turn something. Either it's a woman leaving or he like something happens and then they start doing the work, or is it like
Yeah. No, it's pretty accurate. It's
yeah.
We live in this society where we have ingrained in us this idea that we need to perform,
Mm,
because if we are not seen as winning or succeeding in every facet of life, then our self-worth takes a hit.
mm,
The core masculine wound is I'm not enough. So in every facet of life, we try and be the best. So the best lover, make the most money, the best car, the best woman, the best job, like all the things. We are performance based.
yeah.
And part of that, part of the um, one of the unfortunate side effects of that is that we don't ask for help, or we don't seek
Mm,
out something because we'll be seen as less than. I can't talk to anybody about this problem that I have. I need to figure it out by myself. So my self-worth actually isn't affected, is ultimately the narrative. And so we go and we go and we go until we can't go anymore, and the relationship falls apart. We get sick, we lose the job, insert
mm,
crisis, um, addiction, all the things we do to try and numb ourselves from actually feeling what we're feeling. And yeah, and we hit a place where it's like, okay, well, the only option I have is to seek help. I
yeah.
can't get any worse. This can't get any worse. So, and then you sit in a men's circle and you realize that, you know, 12 out of the 15 men have actually gone through what you've gone through, and you're like,
Mm,
oh,
yeah.
I wish I'd come here earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also the for both sides. Also for us women, it's like realizing I'm not alone. We have this like women. Maybe we start earlier to do the spiritual work or like connecting in kind of women circles and things like this. But it's the same for us in like business. In like right yesterday, I had some issues with the insurance thing. I said, "Oh fuck," right? But I have like other women who said, "Yeah, I know where you're going through. There might be options." So it's like we have to think this is human. We have to be together and like empower with, yeah, also in not the high life Instagram life, right?
Yeah.
And this is missing, but it's coming a little bit more. Yeah.
It is, and there's also this huge loneliness epidemic in men,
Yeah.
and at the same time as it is getting better, it's also kind of getting worse. And the internet is really disconnecting us more than anything. And
Yeah.
there's a bunch of guys who look to people like Andrew Tate because
Yeah.
he's really one of the only, him and Jordan Peterson, they speak to a pain point that young white men have.
Yeah.
that everybody else ignores, or kind of, I've been told so many times I'm not allowed an opinion because I'm a white male. And, I'm a very opinionated guy, and for me, I can hold my own in those conversations. But when you don't have much going on in life, and maybe you're still living in your parents' basement, and maybe you've just gone to college and you cannot get a job because the economy's shot to shit.
Mm.
And maybe you're less than above average of attractiveness. It will take you 1,000 swipes on Tinder or Bumble or whatever to meet someone who will have a coffee with you. So you don't get the chance to practice connection. You don't get the chance to practice what it's like to go out and bumble around on a date, and then fuck it up and then go again a couple of days later. And so without this, there's a lot of these men that are just kind of staying at home and watching porn and really going internal and becoming the men that society starts to fear. Because it is dangerous. It's dangerous for them, and it's dangerous for everyone else when these guys are not given a chance, and they're only ever considered kind of the shit stain of society because they're the most privileged, when actually in a lot of cases they're not. And it's just this whole stereotype of, and in my opinion, it's a narrative that has been constructed this way purposefully, where women have been pushed into a far more masculine way of being. Men have been pushed into a far more feminine way of being. Suddenly the future is female, which is total horseshit.
Yeah.
The future needs to be integrated and healed, and not this us versus them. So it creates this separation which we have, which there are so many people disconnected.
Yeah.
And COVID really, really kind of highlighted that. And I remember speaking to someone, she hadn't touched a person in 3 years after COVID, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
To think of how badly we need people, and we need connection in our lives, only for the powers that be to construct an experience for humans that is actually just meant to separate us even further.
Yeah, that's the pain I feel a lot. So just this weekend, I drove out of the city, and I was like, we are not made to be in this masses of metal and big cities and this loneliness. This is not what humans are meant to be. It's like connection with like man, women, nature, animals, anything like that. But this is a huge topic about dating. You just said about Tinder, Bumble, however you call these apps. It's like everyone says, yeah, it's so easy and so available. And I was on these apps as well. And I was like, I don't want this like swiping superficial, just there is no connection. And I always say, and my women say the same, it's like, where are these men who can just approach a woman and just connect with me in real life and say, hey, I like you, or I like your dress. Do you like me to have a drink with me or something? This is not happening anymore. And it's like, I think, where is the, I say, yeah, this is the feminine men who don't know how to approach a woman. But as you said, it's like, yeah. And if I say, no, I'm in a relationship, it's still fine. He can ask 2 or 3 women like this, but they are not into it at the moment. So it's like, as you said, separate further, and then you just sit on the couch, and then they start hating women and say, oh, the feminism made women like too strong. And I would agree on that women are not meant to be this masculine. This is what I wanted to say about, I had a discussion yesterday on this. I said all these self-employed women, as I am, and my clients, we're like, yeah, we don't have a guy, so we have to do it ourselves, and we have to work, or you are self-employed and you have to do the things, and you would like to do it feminine, but the system is not made for the feminine in this case. So we have to do it and make it easy and balance the feminine and masculine in our work, right? But this is like a lot of happening, like the women come more masculine and the men are like more feminine, and then they start to separate, as you said, right? And that's a lot topic about the dating. So how would you say yeah, I don't know. How can we fix that? Like, oh, it's a huge thing. And he said yesterday to me, he said, like, yeah, you are also one of the dominant masculine women. I said, no, I can be very feminine, but there should
Who
be
said that to you?
hmm?
Who said that to you?
A guy yesterday. I can't put the name
Okay.
here, but he said, I said, sure, I am a powerful feminine, right?
Yeah.
But I need a guy. So I need someone like, yeah, sure, I can just surrender if I feel safe. But if I'm alone and I have to organize stuff, I have to do the work. This is what a lot of women have, this pain. And then he said, sure, you attract only the feminine boys. I said, no, a really conscious man who is into his, like, he knows his presence, he knows who he is. That's a different kind of energy, then, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier the core wound for the masculine is that I'm not enough, and the core wound for the feminine is I'm too much. And you
Yeah.
get a man who cannot hold the width of who you are. So he puts you down and he says, well, you're just too much.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Yeah. But this is what's happening with Andrew Tate and all these guys. It's like pushing the woman down. Yeah.
So the thing with Andrew Tate, he says a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
And he says a lot of things that they're kind of wild
Yeah.
how misogynistic it is. And he says a lot of really incredibly powerful things that gets completely ignored because the people who are trying to shoot him down and cancel him, and they point to the one thing that he says,
Yeah.
because he is so popular and so famous, it's very easy to pick out the things that he says that are ridiculous and then just cancel everything else. Most people say stupid shit at some point,
Mm.
but nobody really, it doesn't get the same attention.
Mm. Yeah.
Now, if instead of us just trying to cancel this guy, we figured out the things that he is saying that are why he is so popular. Like, look for the pain point that he's speaking to in men that nobody else is speaking to, except maybe Jordan Peterson, but same thing. He says some incredible things. And every now and then he says something that's a little bit wild, and people will go, oh, well, no, he's terrible. Don't listen to anything.
Mm.
Um, but I think this is where we start to make a change when we have the ability to sit and listen to somebody we disagree with.
Yeah. Right.
And from that point, we start to understand why they are so popular with other people.
Mm.
And this is, we are in such a bizarre point in history where we cannot have conversations with people we disagree with. We just cancel them or kill them.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get better this way. I think it was Descartes who said, I will fight for the death your right to say, I disagree with you and I'll fight to the death for your right to say it. We need to be able to listen to people we don't agree with. And we need to be able to find the truth of the slither of truth that exists in what they say.
Yeah.
And from this place, we can then start to learn more about each other. So, this guy says to you, well, you're just too dominant. It's like, okay, tell me more. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of just being, that's a ridiculous thing to say, get curious.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, I know zero about this guy, but if he's a dominant guy, then there is an issue that he has with power, and that he needs to dominate people because he feels insecure about himself. And then this comes from his childhood. And then, you can explore it instead of just being that was a terrible conversation because it sounds like it was. How curious can you get about where he's coming from? And just for your own learning, just to kind of understand him a bit more deeply. And I think this is how we start to heal at least something. COVID came out, you couldn't question it because you're an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
And then the genocide's happening, you can't question it because then you're anti-Semitic. So it's like there's all these narratives that just we're not allowed to disagree with each other. And because of that, we're in this very disconnected society.
Yeah, I would say disconnected, numb, and also like for women, I say the too much thing. It's like the shrinking, like still making yourself small because it could be too much. I express, could be too much, too emotional. It could be too much in power, also too much in my sexual power. So if I want more and he's not able to, or like, oh, I do a lot of work on sexuality and intimacy also with the women, and I feel there's a lot of shame, you know this because you also work with women and couples. It's like there's a lot of shame on their really desires and fantasies and sexual power, so they suppress it because it's not safe to express it, right? And also they're coming back to the connection. We both have to be able to connect, communicate, and to hold the space for each other's energy in that case, right? Also in intimacy. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's
and
a lot of
especially intimacy. There's so much shame around it,
mm,
um, which is one of the reasons why so many men watch porn.
yeah.
It's like you don't have to worry about the size of your dick. You don't have to worry if you could get hard or not. You don't have to worry if you can last long. She can, this you can turn on any screen and access porn within seconds and have a release, and there is no vulnerability required.
Mm,
Whereas you sit with a woman who has all of her own issues and all of her own shame and all of her own things, women can say some pretty fucking horrible things in the bedroom. Not
mm,
necessarily with a bad intention, but just like the one little thing that she's, oh, you're not hard enough, or is that all you got, or any little thing she can say can really damage a man whose core wound is I'm not enough. Um, so then men hide and they try to perform, and they're absolutely not present because they're thinking about, am I doing it good enough? And it creates such a disappointing experience for both.
yeah, yeah. How would you say then? Because this is what my women and myself experienced a lot. It's like, yeah, then you have just the performance sex. Like, I just, yeah, okay, let's just, then it's like, okay, that was not good. So either I have to communicate and talk to him about this, but women are holding back there and saying, oh, I can't say this. Maybe I'm like, no. On the other hand, the guys just, you have just a Tinder date, you have sex. It's like no connection, no consciousness. It's just, having sex, and then the woman feels like she feels dirty afterwards, she feels bad, her emotions drop, right? And men are like, okay, I'm just performing. So I tend to feel this a lot, like he's hiding, as you said, he's hiding a part, he's just performing, he's having like a how you say this, like a wall, right? And it's just like, okay, let's just have sex and it's fine. And men can, I think they can't. They say I can separate it, but I think they still have something inside, which is like I can feel all of it. That I'm just performing and I'm not connecting on a deeper level, right? It's like
It's such
it's
a
numbing. It's like yeah, it's like just also if you do like only CrossFit, it's like okay, run away, just do it. Like how often can you do this? And it's like oh, I don't need to connect with a woman on a deeper level.
yeah. I mean, this is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah.
Um, I have a very particular opinion around sex.
Tell us. This is what we want to know.
I
Yeah.
so I got married when I was 26,
Mm-hmm.
and I was with the same woman for 8, 9 years.
Mm.
And prior to that, I was a very awkward, very lost. I just it was I wasn't. I was more one of these guys that if Tinder was happening back then, I would have been one in 1,000 swipes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I got married and became addicted to porn and premature ejaculation, erectile dysfunction, and it was a disastrous sex life because of my own doing. And she had an affair, life happened, I went traveling, I got into Tantra because
Mm.
I wanted to learn how to heal my dysfunction.
Mm.
Realized that Tantra was a lifestyle and not some kind of sexual technique. And so I got into Neo Tantra,
Mm.
where I started to learn far more about retaining and full bodied orgasms and these things.
Mm.
And I started to go to these communities which the Esters and the more free love type communities. And I loved it
Mm.
because I was so deeply in my shadow and my need for validation and a fear of intimacy, and my heart had been shattered by this woman. And I was just, this was it was a phase of life that I really needed for me.
Mm.
And then at some point, I started to realize, once I got into men's work, I started to realize how little healthy masculine energy was at these tantric events.
Mm.
It was just either wounded men or very feminine men.
Mm. Yeah.
And I've been going to spiritual festivals for and events for 25 years, I think. I went to the first one when I was 18. You put a man and a woman in front of each other and they start to eye gaze. One of these spiritual men, which I was for since I was 18. And you get the woman to start to feel something. And, maybe it's pleasure, maybe it's joy, maybe it's whatever is true for her in the moment. She starts to gyrate her hips. And then at some point, maybe she starts to move her hands. And then her hands are kind of up, not dancing, but kind of just feeling the moment. 99 times out of 100, the guy will mirror her
Mm.
and he'll put his hands up and he'll start to match her hands, and he'll just go straight to his feminine because he
Yeah.
doesn't understand containment. So then suddenly she starts to feel a little more turned off than she was, and she'll start to slow down. And then this guy starts to lean in because, hang on, why did you stop? Why did you slow down? I want more of that. So I'll keep doing more of what I was doing. And it's a fucking disaster. So I got really turned off these events and these festivals and these communities because for me, it was just trauma perpetuating trauma. These guys going around sleeping with as many women as they want, the women
Yeah.
pretending that that's fine and actually they're into it as well. Yeah, I don't think so. I think everybody there has some deeper wounding, whether it's a fear of abandonment, a fear of intimacy, whatever it is. So this was around the time I started to get far deeper into intimacy, polarity, sexuality.
Mm.
And I can have full-bodied orgasms. I can last as long as I want in sex, and it's fucking great. It's a vastly different experience to what I had for so many years. But I also didn't understand intimacy. I didn't understand energetics, and that's when the polarity in the men's work was so profound because it actually offers me a deeper experience of life once I understand what that means and what that transmission of consciousness is. So, to your question, men release. If I was a woman, I would never have sex on a first date.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
golden rule. I
Yeah.
would I would actually wait as long as possible to have sex
Yeah.
because women release oxytocin far greater and far more quickly than men.
And
So
yeah.
their need for that connection comes on far more strongly.
Mm.
As a man, you could sleep with 5 women in 5 nights and you would forget the first two women's name. Like you can just switch off
Mm.
because especially if that is kind of where you're at and what you're into, you are disconnected from something. You're disconnected from feeling. You're disconnected from. For you, it is just you're ticking a box.
Yeah.
Um, and there is something around the chase. Like Our when there is a woman that we're interested in, it boosts the testosterone, it boosts the desire and this. It actually feels really good, and it's a really beautiful experience to have that chase. And if that is over after a few hours, then you, especially one if you ejaculate, the release of all of the hormones is just like, well, okay, I'm done. I don't need that anymore. So I'll go on to the next thing. So yes, I believe men can numb themselves. They do numb themselves.
Mm.
They can disconnect from sex meaning anything
Mm.
far more easily than women can. And this is why for a woman it is so important to be absolutely clear on what it is you want, what it is you're available for, and what it is that you don't want, and what you're a no to. Because it's easy to say yes, I'm a yes to this, 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 and this. And it's like, hey, cool. But what if he's all those things and he's a bunch of these things that are massive red flags?
Mm.
So being clear on what it is that you don't want can allow the greatest fucking unicorn to walk in the room and be like, oh, hang on. But there are these things that I'm not into. Like he's not sure if he wants a relationship, and I really want a relationship. If
Yeah.
he's not sure, believe him.
Yeah.
L-
Actions. Yeah.
listen to him.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've gone on enough on that topic, but yeah,
No, but this is so important to hear. It's like what, so we have, like what I say, we women, we have a lot of topics we don't understand. So either men are very simple in that it's still the chasing game. But I keep telling there's like a difference between not on the first date, but a guy who was doing a lot of shadow work, he said, yeah, you have to know the direction, as you said, the same. Like, I would like to go this way. And are you with me on that way? Or do you want no relationship? Then it's like, I have to decide as a woman, I want this or I don't want this. Am I available for this or not? I tend to say, my women ask me, like, oh, I also want to have sex. And I said, if you're okay with that, that it's just sex and it's nothing more, then you can do that. But don't expect him to be the love of your life, right? It's a decision. You have to just listen. And I say you have to feel it in your body. But I also think there is a chemistry, there's a sexual energy, there's energy like, oof, I am pulled to him. And somehow it's like not easy to differentiate between, is it a nice chemistry and energy together, or is it just the ego, like my system which says, oh, I know this is good, this is hot. um and I would say you have to wait for sure, but he said, yeah, you have to wait like 10-15 days. Like if you have 15 dates, then you can have sex with him. I said, yeah, but if the sex is then not good, if we are not matching in our bodies, like there was no intimate connection, then I waited 15 dates and it's like, oh fuck, we are not connected on this topic. So how would you say this for us women? It's like either
I
don't do
yeah,
it
it's
with
great.
everyone. But
If
yeah.
if if you want to have sex, if you just want to have sex, do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not some fucking right wing
Yeah.
conservative. Like sex is great. I love it.
Yeah.
If you want a relationship, it's a different thing. If you, so many women want a relationship and then settle for
Yeah.
less and then
Yeah.
complain that they're not getting what they want.
Yeah.
Yet that's what they're choosing every time.
Yeah.
So there needs to be, for me, this whole idea of intimacy, because there is physical intimacy, which is important, super important, but there's
Mm.
emotional intimacy.
Mm.
So can he connect with you on a level that brings sameness,
Yeah.
where you can see the human in each other? Experiential intimacy, maybe you both like bowling or pottery or hiking or whatever. The things that you do separately that you actually love to do together.
Yeah.
Mental intimacy. Can you have conversations with this guy about something that lights you up? I asked Sarah when we first started courting, what's a red flag? And she said, I love aliens and ancient civilizations. I was like, fuck, that's a green flag for me. That is
Hmm.
something that that's why we just went to Egypt. Like we love to talk about this stuff, and other people would find it a turnoff. If I spoke to someone about ancient civilizations, they might be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for us, this creates intimacy.
yeah,
So you have physical and then spiritual intimacy. Maybe you meditate together, you go to church, you pray, you spend time in nature, whatever it is.
yeah.
But if you can cultivate the other four, so physical intimacy, if you're not having sex yet, but you're just cultivating those other forms of intimacy, this is a really powerful indication of whether or not this guy would be any good at dating or in a
Mm,
relationship. Because he could be the best sex of your life and be absolutely fucking horrible in a relationship.
mm, yeah.
So sleeping with him on the first night or the second night, and then you're like, oh my God, it's amazing. It's like, yeah, sure, but is it?
That's
Is
just the
it
high. Yeah, yeah. And the hormones are like saying, "Oh, nice, like a drug." It's like a drug.
exactly?
Yeah, for the body.
Um, 15 dates, it's a long time.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
uh, I so for me, there are three pillars of a sacred relationship, and one of them is the intimacy, one of them is polarity, and one of them is generosity.
Yeah.
So generous, is he generous to you, for you? Is he generous for love? Is he generous? Does he work on himself consistently so to be a better man? Um, is he generous with your nervous system? There's a whole range of things under the pillar of generosity, but then polarity. Can you sit in front of this guy and get turned on just by the way of his being? Um, and one of the issues that we have with this wounding, and often the woman steps into a more masculine role because of her distrust of men and masculinity, and the man often has a mother wound, and that is the man with the mother wound. That is the dysfunction that meet. So
Yeah.
this guy who likes to be mothered meets a woman that is actually more in her masculine, and there is polarity there because one's in the masculine, one's in the feminine. It's just flipped. So because of that polarity, there is that sexual charge in the beginning, but over time, and often it's the woman who realizes that actually this is not fun anymore. She doesn't want to be the one that's doing all the planning and the leading, the structuring, the everything. So this is when the polarity then starts to diminish.
Yeah.
And this is not something you can figure out in a few dates, but you can have a depth of awareness around where he's at. If you're looking at him and you're like, I had to plan a date, or he asked me what I wanted to eat for dinner, or he asked me what movie I wanted to watch. Like there are little hints of like,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah.
really?
And then just over here, it's saying, okay, he's still hot. I said, yeah, but look at this, right? Yeah. It's, yeah.
So yeah, but we're like women need to get really fucking clear on their responsibility, and this leads into the question that you asked in the beginning.
Hmm.
Their responsibility in the men they're allowing into their life.
Yeah.
Because the question, where are all the good men? The answer is they are fucking everywhere. They are honestly, I'm with them all the time. There are retreats full of these men. I go to intensives full of these men. But we have this confirmation bias that comes in. And I do this a little bit, and maybe you've heard it before, but just look around the room and look for everything that you see that is brown. So, in the room that you're in now, just look around. Look for everything that you see that's brown.
Mm-hmm.
Now, close your eyes. And now tell me everything you saw that's red.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing. I know one
So,
thing.
so now you open your eyes
Yeah.
and you look for all the things. You notice that there's actually more red than you could answer.
Yeah.
But you also notice that the things that were brown, actually, maybe they were a little bit more black or gray because you're trying to succeed.
Mm.
the things that you saw that are red now, maybe they're a little more pink or a little more burgundy, but you're trying to succeed. So where are all the good men is going to imprint this belief that there are no good men. So you meet a man who's fucking fantastic, but then he does something and you're like, no, he's no good. Because you're looking for brown.
Yeah.
You're looking for the reason to succeed. Now, that's one part of it. And the other part of it is we are an energetic match for the people that come into our life and the people that we say yes to.
Yeah.
So if we're attracting shit men, what is it about us that is attracting shit men?
Yeah.
What is it about us that is attracting that type of man that we're not into or we don't want? And then how can we take 100% responsibility for the people that are coming into our lives? And what that can get to is simply you just saying no, not into you, not into you, not into you, not into you, and just being alone and being in the longing for union. Like to as a prayer, sit with the deepest yearning you have for what you truly desire without settling for anything less.
Yeah.
Because every time you say yes to something that's mediocre,
yeah.
you're telling universe, God, that's okay.
Yeah.
No, here's a couple of red flags, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So your energetic match is mediocrity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than I would rather be alone than be with a guy that cannot sit with me and be present.
Yeah.
I would rather be alone than sit with a guy who constantly asks me what we should do. So, yeah, really getting clear on who it is you are, what it is that you want, what it is that you're a no to, and then sitting in the deep prayer of longing, of I am totally full and complete as I am, and I fucking long for a love that can take me deeper.
Yeah. 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 This is the thing about being with yourself, being okay with yourself, and live your life in the abundance and the frequency that attracts the right one. But this is a lot. I can say this for Germany. I don't know if it's like worldwide, but as you said, a lot of women are like, they settle for the one who is like, okay, he could be a nice dad, but it's just because my family expect me to, or because this is a thing. If you're like, I'm 39 now, so if you still want kids or want to marry, a woman has here, right? Like, oh, I don't have time, so I take him. And then I see the woman, I said, oh, fuck. I talked to them. I said, they are not happy. So I had a weekend and we were talking a lot about, oh, they said, we're missing intimacy in our marriage. So we're like married, we have 2 kids. And this is another huge topic, the intimacy that get lost maybe in a relationship because they're just mom and dad and working all the time. So there is no lovers anymore, polarity. But yeah, a lot of women settle for because they have to, or they think they have to, because they can't stand being alone, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what they're choosing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're in it and then they're stuck in it. And yeah, I've spoken and know of a lot of women who were with a guy because he'll do.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a few years and they're bitterly unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah. So sad. Oh.
Yeah, it sucks.
I always ask, how can you do this? It's so sad, right? But some are like settling for money and they say, it's fine, he pays everything. I said, fuck, but what's about your power, right? About your energy. But this is where we are at the moment. So what do you say for the women listening? So the men need to do some work if they want to be deeper on the consciousness, but also for the women, how can we work with that? Like, if I'm the successful woman who wants it all, but she is afraid of being too much. And so she dims her light, she dims herself to settle for one of these guys who like her in this way. And I say the feminine, in my words, is the feminine is not only the soft one who is just receiving. The feminine is a huge power and could be very strong and wild. But how can she tap into that without, yeah, without saying
What
again, where's the man who can hold me in this capacity, in this power?
what do you call too much?
So like my clients are a lot of successful women, like they do their own business, they have visions, they want to be like think bigger, do have an impact, do a big business. And then they're like, also they're good in sports and they do all the things, work their life through this. But then they have to settle for the men who are just like they don't want to, but it could be a nice dad. Or they say like I'm too much like there I'm too much energy, too emotional, I'm successful, and the guys I want, this masculine guys, they don't want a woman who is like a really successful woman. So this is about the masculine feminine
Okay, so
in the society, I would say.
it's one thing to be in your masculine in your career and then to go and play
Yeah,
sport and to be good at
yeah,
that and
yeah,
to do all
yeah,
the things and blah 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 blah.
yeah,
Where in your life are you in the masculine out of wounding rather than necessity? Because
yeah,
if you're in your masculine all the time and you come home or you go on a date and you plan the date and you do the things because this is just what you're good at and you're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that isn't a turn on for a man.
No. Yeah.
If you go off, my woman is she is fantastic at business. She's fantastic at sport.
Mm.
And she's also so fucking feminine. It's amazing. And in
Mm.
the beginning of our kind of coming together, at some point she said to me, "Claim me or lose me."
Yeah.
And there was this fierceness in her that it was such a turn on.
Yeah.
And our polarity is just fantastic all the time. Even though a lot of the time she's a mother, a lot of the
Mm.
time she is in her masculine.
Mm. Cool.
Now, she's also incredibly emotional. And I love it. Sometimes it's a lot, but I love it because it means energetically she has a large capacity.
Mm.
And I'm actually releasing a reel today. I was at a retreat and I was like, how many men want more sex in the relationship? And all the men put their hand up. How
Yeah.
many of you want your woman to be more emotional? And they all put their hand down. It's like you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. That's it.
Like you can't have more sex and have a woman that has no emotion because it's just energy.
Yeah.
So you want an emotional woman, you just need to learn how to fucking hold her.
Yeah.
Now, the thing for women is that sometimes you are too much because your emotions are not alchemized through your heart. So it comes out as abuse or it comes out as complaint or as it comes nagging or all of these things where it's just this very stage one kind of selfish purge. And for a lot of guys, it's just like, I don't want to put up with that. Whereas if you sit with it and you process it first and you take the edge off it and you pull it through your heart and then you deliver it to him. And you do, most women you've had hundreds of thousands of years of being emotionally more evolved than men. So in most relationships, the woman has a greater awareness around her emotions and it's her responsibility to be like, I'm not going to just blast him with this right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually go back and I'm going to sit with it and I'm going to filter it through my heart and pull out the deepest truth of what it is I need to say. And then I'm going to deliver that to him. And I'm going to deliver it in a way that he can receive it. Because if she comes to me and she says, you didn't put out the garbage and you fucking said you would and blah, blah, blah. It's like, whoa, okay. Wow, too much. If
It's
she
the
comes to
mother.
me,
Yeah.
if she comes to me and says, my love, you told me you'd take out the garbage and you didn't. And it makes me lose trust in what you say because you don't follow through. It's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Like same message,
Yeah.
but one of them is through the heart, and one of them will land far more deeply. And this is the feminine oracle. So yeah, I can't remember what your original question was.
It was about the successful women who are like only doing the things, but you
Exactly.
said
Okay.
it's like at home coming back. It's like this
You
is
need
also
you
like
need to create space in your life to be deeply feminine.
to be deeply feminine. Same, yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I
So
write to them. Yeah,
feminine practice, dancing, pleasure practice, do
yeah,
all the things. Where can you let go of control?
yeah, yeah,
Because the habit that you get into is that you need to control everything.
yeah,
And you're going to take this habit into relationship,
yeah,
and you're going to take away the space that there is for him to lead.
yeah,
Like, you're going to do it because you're good at it. Yeah, sure. But if there's no space for him to do it, this is the dynamic that you're going to create. So, 100% responsibility. How can I be more feminine in moments that actually allow it? Where can I let go of control? Where can I let go of leadership? Where can I let go of these areas of my life to practice being an energetic match for the kind of person that I want?
yeah, yeah,
If you want a very masculine guy, he's not going to be attracted energetically to a very masculine woman.
yeah.
So there needs to be, and this is all energetic.
Yeah.
So
Work.
I have a very integrated feminine, and Sarah has a very integrated masculine, and this is why it works. Whereas I used to be very much in my feminine all the time, and I would attract much more masculine women, which just it didn't work because we were more than 50% of the time in the wrong pole of the polarity.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. This is like always I say, do the dancing, do some pleasure work, do breath work, touch, take time in the shower, like simple things to be in the feminine, although you like maybe living in New York City and have a lot of masculine energy around you, right? So I would encourage them to go in nature, do the things. Yeah. And it all comes back to consciousness, like being conscious about your energy, about your shadows. Also for man, the same thing. So yeah, love that.
And the other part of that is one feminine practice I would suggest is to learn to feel the truth of your heart in the moment.
Yeah.
So for 10 minutes, you sit and really truly feel what it is that your heart feels.
Mm.
And then how can you express that? Maybe it's through your fingertips. Maybe it's very subtle, or maybe it is full expression of grief or of longing or of anger or whatever it is. But practicing expressing the truth of your heart.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's you touched on it before, like this idea of not wanting to be too much, and therefore you don't express because maybe you don't want to upset him, or you don't want to disconnect, or you don't want him to get angry, and all these very valid reasons. Yet the truth of your heart is your gift to
Yeah.
a man, and it is what is going to help sharpen him. It is the leadership of a relationship comes from your expression of the truth of your heart moment to moment. The man doesn't lead, truly. He he makes decisions based on your expression of the moment. And this is where the feminine leadership comes in.
Yeah.
Now he might overrule it because he has a deeper understanding of what would serve love in the moment. But typically, if you're expressing your deepest truth in the moment, then that is what he's going to lead based on. So practice that and express that.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say also like man can they need us to feel themselves also. Would you say that? Like if I express, if I am really tuned into my consciousness in my heart, in my body, so and I'm really able to express it in a healthy way, he loves the masculine, or he loves that. So it's like he needs this, like, oh yeah, there she is. This is the energy we want, right? So it says again, the dance, I call it the dance of the feminine and masculine, this natural attraction and polarity. Yeah.
It's your radiance that
Yeah, the
is,
radiance. Yeah.
and the radiance is the biggest turn on for a man.
Yeah.
Like the society has absolutely crucified women by making them believe that your looks are more important than your energetic transmission.
Mm.
And you can have, I used to live in New York. My ex-wife was a model, and
Mm.
some of the most beautiful people in the world
Yeah.
who had the radiance of a fucking doorstop. And
Yeah.
it was like so unattractive and unappealing. And then
Yeah.
you get people who are so radiant.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not physically attractive, but they're so radiant. They're so in their body and they're in their truth. And it is so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. This
And
is what I
women,
tell. Sorry. Yeah.
no, just women need to spend more time worrying about expression and
Yeah.
practicing expression, because that is the thing that will really turn him on.
Yeah. Yeah. I always say my women, like I say, it's not about what you wear. There are, so, as you said, so many beautiful women outside, but they are dead inside. So it's about who am I, express, feel, be in that energy. And for sure you can put some nice dresses on, that's an add-on, but the energy is from inside. That's the radiance, right?
Wear what makes you feel good,
Yeah. What
because
makes you
that,
feel good? It's the
yeah.
energy. Yeah. Wear that. And what would you say? You just said like coming to the end, like what is the turn on for men? If you put like 3 to 5 things, what is the turn on? Also in relationship, but on the deeper level, on intimacy, on desire, on connection. You said it's the radiance, a woman who is able to express herself.
Yeah. So for me, it's the radiance is number one. It is that expression of what she's feeling in the moment. And that's not always fun, but it's always true. And this is, I mentioned integrity in the beginning.
Mm.
For the women, if what you're expressing is not your deepest truth and I feel it, I lose trust.
Mm.
And if I lose trust in your expression, then my leadership falters, because I don't know if it's actually serving love, because I can't trust what you're expressing.
Mm.
So whether it's joy, pleasure, anger, whatever it is, as long as it's true, I fuck it. It's fantastic. Um, you feeling your own pleasure is always a turn on. You know, in porn, the thing that men look at more than anything is the woman's eyes.
Yeah.
Like, like it's nothing else really matters. It's like we want to know that you're turned on. But
Yeah.
again, so actually, and that it brings me back to something that you mentioned earlier. If it's not right in sex, say it.
Yeah.
Don't put up with something that hurts or something that's uncomfortable or something that doesn't feel good. My only point back then was if it's if it's a really vulnerable discussion, have it outside of the bedroom.
Yeah.
If it's a one night stand, fucking whatever. You know, you're both in it. Tell the guy this doesn't feel good. This is not good. I don't. But if it's something that's really kind of deeply uncomfortable and potentially hard, difficult, do it outside of the bedroom for
Yeah.
both of your sakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, what else turns me on?
Yeah. What do we need to know and understand about men in that case? What turns men on? What
We
we don't know.
we
It's like,
our deepest, so a woman, the feminine's deepest desire is love, and
yeah,
for the masculine, it's freedom.
yeah,
And part of that is we we have a deep need to be trusted, appreciated, and respected.
yeah,
And a lot of women criticize men or their man without really realizing how often they do it, or without realizing the impact of what it has. And for the women listening who are in partnership, go praise your man. Just fucking praise him for something. Praise the king in him. Tell him what you appreciate him for. A lot of men are very trustable, but energetically or emotionally, they're not.
Mm.
So, he'll do what he says, and he'll never cheat on you, he'll never betray you. Like, he's a very trustable man, but perhaps he doesn't have an emotional capacity that's very large. So you can't bring him a lot of things. So it's hard. Maybe it's hard for you to actually trust him, but there is something in him that you do trust, and tell him that, because it's like a nutrient. It
Mm.
is something that it's the reason we do things in life, is to make you feel good, to make you happy, to make you feel loved. And if we're not appreciated for it, if you start to expect it, and there's little praise or little acknowledgement of it, it becomes burdensome. So if respect and appreciation and praise are fantastic, your radiance, your expression of your truth is fantastic. And you knowing what feels good for you.
Yeah.
Know your pleasure. Don't expect us to know it if you don't know it. Don't
Know
expect
it
us to
and speak
guess it.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell him.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. But what would feel really good for me is if you
Yeah.
just did this a little bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we don't ask for directions because we want people to think we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And most men actually would prefer to just get it right. So tell us. Tell
Yeah.
us what you love. Tell us what turns you
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And set us up to succeed, because that feels really fucking good when we do succeed.
Yeah. Love that. And if we just one thing about long-term relationships, because I had this weekend on that topic, like how is the also there the turn on, like everything is okay, but the intimacy is missing. So how would you say, I don't know if it's up in one sentence, but what could this couple do more to come back to this, claiming to this, right? The turn on, the energy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like I
it's
said,
not one sentence, but
no, it's not.
I'll
It's
give it a
not.
shot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So if you look at the energetic centers of the body, a man's sex center is positive, a
yeah.
woman's sex center is
Negative.
receptive.
Yeah.
So penis penetrates vagina,
Mm-hmm.
literally positive, receptive. The heart, the man's heart is receptive, the woman's heart, her breasts are positive.
Yeah.
Energetically, there
It's a
is a
circle.
circuit that goes from his cock in her yoni, out her breasts, in his heart. So what that means is to open her legs, to turn on her sexual energy center, you need to open her heart first. Far more easily if you open her heart. For a man to open his heart, you need to turn him on first.
Mm.
Now, this is not black and white, but it is far more easy for a man to feel the depth of his love for her in a moment of deep physical intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
When you are making love to a woman, it's like, oh my God, I'm so fucking in love. Like that, you feel your heart just burst open. Similarly, when you are in a deeply emotionally connected moment, a woman is going to be able to feel her pleasure far more easily.
Yeah.
So in these relationships, often it gets, and this is where generosity comes in. Often one of the people is like, well, for a woman, she doesn't feel emotionally connected enough. And for man, he doesn't feel physically connected enough. I always say that the man has to go first. You can't have sex with a woman whose heart is closed.
Yeah.
There needs to be some kind of bridge between the two. And the other thing is, if you look at the the pillars. How is your intimacy? Give yourself a rating out of 10 on physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, experiential intimacy. Polarity, give yourself a rating out of 10. What's the turn on like? Maybe there's a lot of turn on, but there's no love because there's no physical intimacy because there's no emotional connection.
Mm.
And then what's the generosity like? Where are we? How generous are we both for love? And you can often figure out, well, polarity's fucking 2 because there's just no turn on. We're parents, we're both in it, we're both working, we're both doing the thing. Great. So if the polarity is 2, then figure out ways that you can actually amplify that.
Yeah.
Often you'll need to go back to the intimacy, and there'll need to be an emotional, have a relationship check-in.
Yeah.
Structure in your every Sunday, every second Sunday. How could I support you better? What's something that I could do to make you feel more loved? What are you grateful for? Like, ask. On my Instagram, I have a whole thing.
I saw it. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah.
Um,
Check in.
but just ways to create emotional intimacy, which will then give the woman what the nutrient that she needs, and then perhaps there's some generosity for him that comes through physical intimacy and through physical touch. So figure out which pillar needs the work, and then do the work necessary to amplify that.
Yeah. And I just say maybe I don't like this, but maybe some couples need a pleasure time or like intimacy, like a date in their calendar. If they don't make time, what do you think about this? I think because
As a parent, I
yeah,
totally agree with this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I know some say it's cringe. It's like I can't do a date, but I think you do dates on everything. You do appointments on everything, but not on love and intimacy. You have to make time for yourself, like both.
Why?
Right?
Why? Yeah, I understand the idea of like it needs to be spontaneous.
Yeah,
And how's that going for you?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
How
if you
spontaneous.
have time and space for it to be spontaneous, fantastic.
Yeah,
If you don't,
yeah,
set a date.
yeah,
And maybe the date, like, don't have the expectation that the date will end in sex, but have the expectation that we're going to spend this 90 minutes in connection. And we'll do a little practice. We'll put on music, candles, incense.
yeah,
We'll just be with each other and connect on a deeper level. And then maybe it will end in sex, but there's no expectation and there's no rule. It is just to connect.
yeah.
And this is what we end up. It's like it's either all or nothing.
Mm.
And this is where we shoot ourselves in the foot because we miss the beauty and the nutrients that comes from everything but sex.
Yeah.
So
So
I like
good.
it. I like the idea of a date.
Yeah. Really like that. But I love this conversation. I don't want it to be too long. I think it's 1 hour and something. So I really love that. And I would love to have more people, men and women, diving into the polarity, into the work. I think I would sum up into being conscious about yourself and your energy and how you do relationships, how you communicate, how you do life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And more connection. I don't know how we can help in that case of the dating scene. I would say get off the apps and go into real life. But so you are based in the Netherlands at the moment, but also I will link to your Instagram and your website. Is there something coming up that we need to know? Like you do men's work, but also couples and.
I mean, there's something covered. We start tomorrow, so that's not going to help it. We have a union. This is our 6-week couples program.
Yeah.
Which really excites me because it's Sarah and I. Sarah does what I do except with women.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, we met online and we're like, hey, let's work together. And now we're finally, after having a child together, we're finally getting there. But it's basically whether you're in a new relationship or in a long-term relationship, it's for that. And we're going to do it again at some point, which is why I speak about it. In February, anybody that has teenage boys, we're looking to do a father-son or an uncle-son or something for young men.
Cool.
As an initiation.
Yeah.
And that'll be at a ranch in Arizona. And And then, yeah, I have my men's retreat in April in Austin. And then we have another couples retreat, which I do in Ibiza called La Luna. And that's end of May.
Cool.
So yeah, there's
There's
a lot.
a lot of going. I love that. Love that. I will link to that. And then, yeah, you can find him online. I really appreciate this. So, yeah, we need more of this. Also, offline retreats are great, like weekends, initiations, also for the young men. I like that. The teenage boys. Yeah, we need that.
It's easier to direct young boys than to heal broken men.
Yeah. Cool. Could talk this for hours. So let's see what happens next year. Let's turn them on. Back to the polarity. Love that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.